Okay, I'm going to start the install on the diesel heater water heater. First I'm going to build a little frame here to hold it. But this is wood, so I'm going to put some metal on the inside here. Just in case it heats up a bit. But I think it's going to work. But the first thing I'm going to do is dry fit everything and get it going. And then we'll move it on over. Now I designed those 2x4s with the plate so it'll slide directly in here perfectly. And then I got to vent out the back wall there. It's a tight spot, but I think I should be able to get it. Okay, I got the plates mounted on. Dissipate the heat. Now we're going to mount it on to the heater itself. Just like so. Get that screwed on. And we'll get the hoses hooked on. Slow and easy. Okay, next I got to install the water connectors. They go in here. It doesn't matter which one is which, in and out. It doesn't matter, they're interchangeable. But I put a little red grease on here. It's important because you don't want to gull the threads or screw up the threads when you're putting it in. But with my system here, it's hitting. So I'm going to have to take the one side off, or take it one side off and then screw it in. Then I put it back together. There's always going to be some adjustments when you're putting things together. Okay, yeah, I got some red grease here. I couldn't find any smaller tube at the store, so I got a full one. I'm not sure, well, I'll use it somewhere for greasing up whatever. But let's put some on here. The rubber over the threads. And then screw it in. Just make darn sure you don't cross thread it. So we'll get that in, get the other one in, and put the ends back on. Just ensure you put on these locking nuts first. Because it's threaded all the way, but it doesn't go down all the way on the threads. You know what I mean? So you're gonna have to just adjust that nut. Once you're down snugly, then you tighten the nut. Okay, next I'll stick on the fresh air pipe. Goes on the back one here. Just screws onto the hose like so. And then we'll put on our pressure clamp there, pressure clamp on here. We'll get that installed. Okay, next we got the exhaust pipe. Just goes on with another pressure clamp. Just make sure the angle exceeds or is 110 degrees, just so any unburnt fuel will run out the exhaust rather than running back or carbon up your system more if you don't have the right angle. Could possibly. So we'll get that clamped on. Okay, next is the vent pipe. It just goes on here with a clamp, and then this adjustable end goes on the other end with a clamp. You can turn it, or you can use the T. Well, the T would have to go on here first, then you can have air coming out either side if you want. But for me, there's not a lot of space there, and I don't want it sticking way out. I'm just going to use a little section of this and have the adjustable on here, like so, clamping. So we'll get that in place. Okay, next is the fuel tank. There's a little package inside you got to get out. It's got the screws for mounting, and it's also got the little fitting to hook the diesel line onto. So we'll get that hooked up. We got the diesel line itself. You got to cut sections and hook her together.
Okay, this
fuel line fitting comes with a little rubber, so make sure you put that rubber in there and you just screw her on. Make sure it's nice and tight, but don't over tighten it. And the fuel line itself, you've got to cut it to certain lengths. Just double check in the manual. Okay, you cut 2 lengths at 40 centimeters. Connect one end to the fuel tank. And the other end of that goes to the fuel cup. Then the other hose from the fuel cup to the fuel pump. Yeah, like I was saying, connect the other end from the fuel bowl to the fuel pump. Just an important point, be sure that the fuel tank to fuel pump together doesn't exceed 1 meter for optimum operation. And the fuel pump to the device to the heater itself can be longer. Okay, here's the pump mounting bracket. Stick that on. There we go. And just note when you're mounting the fuel pump, it's got to be at a 45-degree angle and discharge facing up, the discharge point. You connect the other end here. So I'm just getting it all together, and then we'll test it and then get mounting. Okay, next I'll connect the wire harnesses. Power harness, and the good thing about it is it's kind of dummy proof because you can only connect where it's supposed to connect. Yeah, for instance, there's 4 prongs here, so you got the end with 4 holes, 4 female, 4 male. It's got a little notch, so you just turn it till it pops in, then tighten it on. This little locking nut. Good for that one. This is the controller. Connect that on. Once again, 4 male, 4 female. And 1 more. And they do have fuses built in too, which is good. Okay, it doesn't come with a power supply, so I got this transformer at Home Hardware. It's actually for a doorbell, but you can go all the way from 10 volts to 24. So I got it rigged up for 24, tried it on the pump itself. It did run the pump, so I'm going to try it. Hopefully it works. Don't want to give it too much power, but we'll give it a try. Sometimes you got to live on the edge. Okay, I got the wiring together here. It may look a little complicated, but basically they do have the 1 line marked here for water pump, so obviously that goes down, and just hook it to the water pump. Red to red, blue to black. There is a fuse, inline fuse, so that's good. And then we got the, you just plug in the other cord here for the fuel pump. It just clips in, plugs in. And the third one coming out is the power supply, which I have it temporarily hooked just to test things out. And the line comes up to the control module. So we have power. Was running the pump. The fuel pump was clicking, trying to pump, but of course there's no fuel. So I'm going to get things hooked in place, and we'll test it out, see if it'll run. I might need a different power supply because when I run it on the display, it kind of fluctuates. It's not staying at 24. So that might not be a good power supply. We'll try it. If not, I'll get another one. Okay, water lines simply slip on. It doesn't come with water line. You got to buy your own. Just got to make sure it's okay for hot water. Just got to work it, and you get them on, and then clamp it up. You may not even need clamps, but I'm putting clamps on anyway. Okay. The system with my 2x4 seems to work good. It slides in good. And it's kind of adjustable because I'm going to have to get the exhaust hose out through the wall and then mount the pump and whatnot to the inside of the wall. Same with the fuel bowl. So still a few things to do yet. It's definitely not as straightforward as it always looks online. But for me, I just take my time, one step at a time, and I usually get it.